Okay, for our next speaker, we're going to have Susan Gerbic, who is the founder of the Monterey County Skeptics, runs the GSOW. I believe is on the board of... No?
How'd you know I knew that you knew that?
It doesn't matter.
Leonard is.
Oh, okay. Leonard. Okay. I'm thinking about the wrong person. Ignore
I
what
know
I'm
somebody
saying.
who is.
Okay.
So do you.
And I think that most everybody knows
Yeah.
Susan, so there we go. She doesn't need any more
Oh,
introduction.
you're just a pain in the ass.
I know.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for putting this on. I hope you guys are donating. Appreciate that you showed up, as I said. So, I have not done this talk before. This is something that I put together. Isn't that great? I love that sound effect. I put this together because Greg told me he wanted me to talk about it. He's been following this pretty closely. So, I hope this makes some sense. I've left a lot out because otherwise it's going to be very confusing. So some of you guys follow me on social media, probably. And if you follow me on social media, you will see that I've been making a lot of posts in the last couple of years about what's been going on with me and the UFO community. And I'm not necessarily somebody who you should be associated with the UFO community, but for some reason I've become their latest villain. And it's been quite interesting. So I'm going to try to sum that up for you. I am on Twitter. I call it Twitter, not X. And I am not leaving. I don't care how many trolls they send at me. I don't care how many bad names they call me. I don't care how much they want to dox me and put pictures up of me. And I'm not leaving. They should leave. I'm staying. Because I am finding that I'm having some really good conversations with people after all. So that's what this little presentation is going to be about. Let's hope we... Okay. All right. So I say I blame the Australian skeptics, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of story, and I'm going to get a little kind of, like I said, I haven't got this practiced a lot. Now try not to read these screens. I know you guys are going to want to read the screens, but don't, because it's really about the story I'm telling. So in 2019, 2022, 2023, 2023, I think I went to Australia. And I was over there. I did a series of conferences in Australia and talks and in New Zealand. And while I was over in Australia, there's a really powerful big group over there called the Australian Skeptics. And they give out this award every year. It's called the Bent Spoon. And it's to the purveyors of people who do bad stuff or whatever, and they vote on it. So they're
the most preposterous paranormal piffle.
Yeah, most preposterous paranormal piffle. Thank you, Leonard. I didn't write that down because I knew you'd be here. So they give out this award, and this year that I was in Australia, they gave the Bent Spoon to this reporter whose name is Ross Coulthart. Has anybody heard the name Ross Coulthart? Okay, 2 or 3 of you. Okay.
Sounds like a character from a novel.
Well, he's a character, let's just say, and he's novel. So Ross Coulthart is one of the reporters, and he has kind of gone a little off track, and he's really into UFOs now. And so people in Australia, they see him. Some people see him as a legitimate reporter. He might have been at one point, but what he's now, like, aliens are visiting Earth, and there's this giant UFO in a desert somewhere, but I can't tell you where it is, but because they put a building over the top of it, it's so big, and on and on. So this guy is like one of the big heroes in the UFO world. So they gave him the award, the Bent Spoon Award, and it came out as a citation. Oops. Okay. This is it. So it came out as a citation in a place where I can use that as a citation on the Wikipedia page. So here I am. I run this Wikipedia organization called Guerrilla Skepticism on Wikipedia, or GSOW. And what we do is we are trying to really represent the best parts of Wikipedia to really explain, rewrite, and make sure we maintain Wikipedia pages concerning science, scientific skepticism, claims of the paranormal, people of science, and I have a team that's all over the world. I train them. We edit in all languages possible. We've written over 2,000 Wikipedia pages so far. So what is going on is that I went just kind of on a whim. I'm staying at a Airbnb with my friend Melanie Teresa King, and I just said, oh, look, here's a citation for the Australian Skeptics Ben Spoon Award. Let me put it on his Wikipedia page for Ross Coulthart. So here's Ross Coulthart. I went and put the information on there, and here it is down here. And I put about 3 sentences, and it's been cut back since. So what it says currently, in December 2023, Australian skeptics announced that Coulthart was their 2023 Ben Spoon Award winner for his uncritical journalism concerning his belief that governments are covering up wreckage of downed extraterrestrial spacecraft and the bodies of their pilots. Citation 29, which is what I put in. So I put this in, and that's what we do. We edit Wikipedia, we add citations that are reliable into Wikipedia pages. But what happened is, I edit Wikipedia, as I do all social media, as Susan Gerbic, or S. Gerbic, or whatever. I use my real name is what I'm saying. Most people on Wikipedia do not use their real names. They use acronyms, or they use fake names, or phony names, or funny names, all kinds of stuff. But most people are anonymous as far as it goes on Wikipedia. And that's the way we like it. So what happened is that somebody, and I don't know how this happened, but somebody on, I think it was Reddit, started it. And you know, Reddit is supposed to be this high functioning place, right? Of course. So somebody went in on r/ and then it's UFOs, which is like a subset of Reddit that's just focused on UFOs. So they went in and they said, somebody went into Ross Coulthart's Wikipedia page and removed all of his awards, positive attributes, mentions of Grush, that's another guy, first interview, and added skeptical critique instead. Everything you see in red is what was removed. And I don't have that on the screen for you guys because that's too technical for this talk, which is just kind of an overview. So this got picked up, and oh my gosh, since Susan Gerbic edits with her real name on Wikipedia, it became obvious who it was who made some of the edits, at least this one edit. And editors edit, right? So for some reason, and I don't know why, people started getting interested in Ross Coulthart's Wikipedia page, and they did start editing it. They started moving things around. It was kind of a mess before, so they kind of cleaned it up. That's just normal. That's how things are done. Most people don't know it, that this happens all the time to Wikipedia pages, but the UFO community suddenly noticed this. And so I became like, what the heck, who is this Susan Gerbic? And they started doing deep dives into who I am, and that I run this Wikipedia team that works out of Facebook, and we have a secret cabal. And you know, people in the UFO community have no sense of humor, you guys. People on Wikipedia have huge sense of humor. We just don't take ourselves too seriously. So I have written a few things about the UFO world. I've written, I think, over 70 Wikipedia pages, including the Vegetable Man. I just wrote that the other day, so you guys check out Vegetable Man on Wikipedia. And I have written maybe 10 pages that are UFO related. So one of the great heroes of the UFO world is this guy named Lou Elizondo. And it says, there's comments by Lou Elizondo. So I had written that Wikipedia page. Nothing wrong with me writing Wikipedia pages for people who are proponents of, supporters of UFOs. That's just the way it is. I got interested and I wrote it. So there was a lot of flack about that, and I'm not going to go into that at the moment, but I just got onto their radar. So some of the things that they were really upset about, down here at the bottom you can see where it says title removals. See where it says that right here? So one of the things they were concerned about is that people were going into Wikipedia and removing honorifics, PhD, doctor, and those kind of things that were in front of people's names on Wikipedia. Well, that's universal across all of Wikipedia. We do not allow honorifics. It's kind of like the argument from authority, you know? So you can't read the article and all of a sudden it'll say, Dr. So-and-so says. It's like, no, we don't say that. Or so-and-so PhD. No. They're just their name. We do use honorifics for things like people who are like Dr. Phil or the SkepDoc or, somebody that's part of their name. But for the most part, a Wikipedia article can't have all those honorifics in it. So when we find them, we remove them. So people were removing them from different pages for these UFO people, who some do have PhDs and have their doctorates. But they thought somebody was singling out their UFO hero when it's a policy all across Wikipedia for human beings. All right. God, I can't even believe I'm getting here. So there was this group, there's this guy, his name is Matt Ford, and he has I can't even believe this, I'm saying it out loud. He has a YouTube channel and a podcast and all sorts of other social media and a YouTube channel, a Twitter account, and he calls himself The Good Trouble Show. He's very, very left. He was doing a lot of things that were against Trump for a very long time, and then he found UFOs. And that pays better, apparently. There's less competition. So Matt Ford and his friend, who is Rob Heatherly, they decided that they had found I was the equivalent of finding the person who was on the grassy knoll that day, right? It was like, we're reporters. Oh my gosh, we have figured out what is going on out here. That there's this giant, well, I'll let you see in a second. So this is one of the first videos that came out. It's about a year ago. This saga has been going on for about 2 years. So this video here, which is 3 hours long about me and my team. And then there's another video that was 5 hours long. So they're quite lengthy. So Rob Heatherly spent over 60 hours in 1 week just doing a deep dive into my team and who I am and whatever. And so you can see that this video's only got 22,000 views, but it's fascinating what's going on, where they're just going on. And I'll show you, don't worry, I know you're excited. So, and this is a tweet I put up here because it says, somebody named Unique Snowflake, it bugs me that nobody uses their real names hardly. He says, you guys are so excited, like a dog with a bone. You think you're doing a Watergate, only to discover it's not a bone, but one of those turds that goes white after being in the sun for a while. That's in support of me, thank you. And then it says here, and then a little bit later he says, a few people have formed a group with the collective goal of trying to weed out garbage from Wikipedia, and these clowns think they've discovered the final piece of the puzzle that solves JFK's murder. But I guess if you've got nothing else, that straw looks pretty grasp-worthy. So this is not my first rodeo, you guys. I've been doing this Wikipedia stuff since 2010-ish, and I have had been against the big dogs for years with these people, cancer quacks and all kinds of stuff. So the UFO community is not really that scary to me. And so they brought in some guy, this guy Craig Wheeler is here. He was this guy who had done a deep dive on me in 2013 and was trying to alert the PSI world, Rupert Sheldrake and Deepak Chopra and those kind of guys. And so they had, for a year, there was a campaign against me there. So somehow these two people who have totally nothing to do with each other have joined forces against the great Susan Gerbic, I guess, So the Matt Ford show has been making quite a bit of money, I think, off of me and what's been going on, because what he does is he puts out podcasts and videos and so on, and those are all monetized. And of course, I can't get onto the shows. I've asked if I could be on this show, and they said, oh, that would be too distracting. I'm like, really? Okay, if you don't want to talk to me, fine. But this guy was on and on and on with Twitter with me for a year or more. I didn't want to block him. I just wanted because I think it's a good idea to know what's going on in other, your detractors' minds. So it was just a constant feed. And Greg asked me to do this talk because he knows he'd been following this, and it's just hilarious. I put these posts up on Facebook all the time of me being attacked. Some people have seen them. Anybody else seen some of the attacks I've had? Okay, a few of you guys. It's like, is it a Poe? And a Poe is whenever it's so ridiculous that you think it must be satire, but then you realize it's not satire. They really believe this. So some of this stuff is just crazy. Oh, there's a time that I was on Coast to Coast. Actually, I wasn't on Coast to Coast. They were on Coast to Coast talking about me for an hour with George Norrie. You guys know Coast to Coast, right? Yeah, okay. Coast to Coast is where they go for the crazy stuff at like midnight or something. So the host is George Norrie. And it's really funny because I don't watch these things, but I have people who watch them and they're like, oh my gosh, here, let me tell you what he said. You know, they tell me what they said. So George Norrie, in between, this is millions and millions of views on Coast to Coast. So George Norrie plays music in between the commercials. We're going to a commercial, he plays a song, they come back from the commercial break, they play a song. Every song was about women lying and evil, and it was really funny because he believed everything that this Rob Heatherly person was saying. And I have just a little tiny bit of a breakdown of what it was that I was told. Okay, so apparently I'm making millions from the Center for Inquiry, millions, and I asked for a raise whenever I asked the people from CFI. I make $500 a month, and I said, can I get more because I'm making millions apparently, but he says, heck, if you're making millions, I want a raise too. So apparently I monitor over 5,500 Wikipedia articles, which is kind of weird. There's this editor on Wikipedia whose name is Lucky Louie, and he is an editor. I have no idea who he is. He's not part of my team. He's just some guy who also edits on pages that are pseudoscience related. So we edit kind of the same topics. So you run into the same kind of people all the time. So they all think that this guy, Lucky Louie, is Mick West. And Mick West is a person we should know. He's a wonderful person. He's written the book Escaping the Rabbit Hole. He lives up in Sacramento. He's just the go-to guy on UFOs right now. He explains what's actually going on. He's a guy who worked on the Tony Hawk. Is that what it is? The skate.
Pro Skater.
Yeah, Tony Hawk.
Pro Skater.
Pro Skater. Yeah. So he's an expert on like virtual reality, not virtual. What would you say? How things look on the screen, video, graphics, yeah.
3D physics and gaming.
Yeah. So he's perfect to look at these videos of UFOs. He's formed a group, a community that looks at the UFO videos and says, let's figure that out. Here's a trajectory, and they figure it out and they know what's happened. Okay, so he thinks that Rob Heatherly thinks that Lucky Louie is actually Mick West. For a long time, they thought Mick West was running GSOW. And I'm like, excuse me, that is mine. You don't give that to some guy over here. I don't know. No. Apparently, I attack medical pages and politics. I'm not allowing vaccine information onto Wikipedia pages. And by information, that means that vaccines are harming people. So I wasn't allowing that on Wikipedia pages, which is true. I'm not allowing that. My team doesn't allow that. They're worried we would give bad medical information on Wikipedia, which is like, okay, but no. And their goal was to tell people not to use Wikipedia anymore. Don't use Wikipedia, don't trust it. And people are like, I'm not giving them any money anymore. I'm like, they're like, got billions of dollars, Wikipedia. So, okay, fine. They can miss your $5 donation each year or something, just fine. Mark said, and this is really funny. Oops, I hit something I should. Mark, when my Mark was alive, he was listening to this Coast to Coast thing, and he comes into the room from the other room, and he's like, "You're no good. You're no good. You're no good." He's telling me, because I guess it's the song that was just playing. He says, "I am so proud of you, Susan." He says, "That was brilliant. What wonderful marketing. It was all over. Millions of people listened to it." I'm like, "Okay, Mark." But yeah, I remember that. I think that was quite fun. So here's some other things. This appeared on Twitter. Some group called standforbetter.org So lawyers are examining the actions of the guerrilla skeptics, a team of 150 plus editors, organized by the 501c3 About Time, funded by debunker Susan Gerbic. They've edited or created 2,188 pages they consider pseudoscience. Okay, that's all of that is true. I do have a nonprofit. I do have 100 plus people, and we have edited over 2,000 pages. That's all true. So their page edits have negatively affected the reputations of whistleblowers, academics, scientists, former government officials, and have garnered over 155 million views worldwide. Okay, if you say that putting truth and actual facts and using real citations on scientists and academics articles is negatively affecting their reputation, okay, I'll take it. We're over 200 million Wikipedia views now. 203 million page views. People are reading our what my editors put. So they had this little survey. Should the editors' identities be made public through subpoena if they pursue a libel case? I mean, it's always any day now a lawyer is going to come after me. They've got a RICO case against me, apparently. So 95.3% said, reveal the secret cabal. All right. And then somebody at the bottom says, I'd encourage the lawyers to make the discovery process as big as possible, since I have the feeling that the surface is barely being scratched, parallel to the moment when the two interns at Theranos just discovered that Elizabeth Holmes is using Siemens machines. So I'm at that level, right? Okay. So what I usually say is, when I respond to these people, what I did is I would say, so, can you let me know when my court hearing is? I'd love to know when I'm going to Congress, because I've got a shot. I got to find a really cool outfit, and I was always saying, just playing it off like that, and that makes them matter. This is Wikipedia code you're seeing right here, so don't panic, you're nothing wrong with your eyesight. So what was going on is anybody who was writing anything on Wikipedia that was who was editing Wikipedia in a way that would be associated with GSOW, they were getting accused of being one of my people. Now, I don't know these people, they're just other editors. And this person wrote, GSOW is the ultimate anti-Wikipedia conspiracy theory. I've been told with 100% confidence that I'm a member, as is probably every other Wikipedian who stands up to pseudoscience and pseudomedicine. And I am not. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And when I see an editor on Wikipedia write like this, I say, hey, it's pretty cool being part of my team. I wish you were on my team. Or I would joke around and say, yeah, you say you're not on my team. And I would do all sorts of evil things like that. Or I'd say, Big Pharma money check is late this month, or whatever. Or I'd write things like, we have checks this month that are actually, they're in a new place. We're putting them under the rock, in the garden, under the moss, and things like that. We were just joking around. But of course, UFO Twitter is reading all this. This is all public. So they're taking my comments and they're just putting them out there as more evidence of the conspiracy of what I'm doing. So this is Matt Ford. This is about a minute long. I'm going to play this, and it's hopefully going to... Okay, so this is a good summing up.
I'm Matt from the Good Trouble Show. Last week, researcher Rob Heatherly revealed the existence of a group of Wikipedia editors called the Guerrilla Skeptics. This cabal of approximately 150 editors targets any Wikipedia page that they view as pseudoscience, including UAPs. Their number one editor goes by the name Lucky Louie, and Rob has found evidence pointing to debunker Midwest as Lucky Louie. Now, Nick, you have stated you are not Lucky Louie, so I have 4 questions for you. 1, did you, on any occasion, furnish information intended for Wikipedia to any individual associated with the Guerrilla Skeptics group or the nonprofit organization About Time? 2, have you transmitted or directed the drafting of any content related to the UAP phenomenon for Wikipedia to any member or associate of the Guerrilla Skeptics group? 3rd, have you engaged in communication with a Wikipedia editor recognized as Lucky Louie, and are you aware of their identity? Inquiring minds want to know.
This guy thinks he's, I don't know, just the next whistleblower himself. He's trying so hard And it just cracks me up. You know, Mick West is one of the sweetest, nicest guys out there. He's so polite. He's British, of course, you know. He answers these people, well, Susan, I think asked me for a new photo for my Wikipedia page because she said it was kind of outdated and I wasn't smiling enough. I mean, that's like the contact he's had with me about this. All right, this is a couple minutes longer. And this is Rob Heatherly. Now, this is the same guy that you saw over here. This guy with the magnifying lens, see him? This is this guy right here. So I'm going to show you this video. This is a podcast, YouTube channel called Cosmic Convergence.
I see hints of right-wing extremism here.
Yeah, just a bit. So, you know, I don't want to say too much about Rob Heatherly because we are recording, but I have my personal beliefs that man is being manipulated by an organization to make money off of my name. And you can tell me if you think I'm wrong, but let's play. This is the intro. They've kind of summed it all up. So I think it's a good, healthy way of explaining what's going on. This has got 370 views. It's 1 year old, so it's not 25 comments. It's really doing not much of anything.
My evidence is focused around several different data sets and different vantage points of proof. I'm Lucky Louie. He demands overwhelming evidence for extraordinary claims. I'm going to oblige him. I'm going to give him extraordinary evidence that he's Mick West. The other editors and admins that have been abusing Wikipedia and
That's me.
aiding and abetting these guys, I've got all their names listed in archive too. And I don't think a person on the internet should be allowed to retain anonymity when they are intentionally causing others harm repeatedly. I'm well on my way to proving that Mick is who I think he is, but I also have several others that are unnamed and honest. I already know who they are. There are some professors in there. There are some cutting-edge journalists and academics that have been very vocal against disclosure. When you have people that are so rigid-minded, and you have to remember, a lot of these that do acknowledge being guerrilla skeptics, which is different from guerrilla skeptics of Wikipedia. They wrote a paper on reverse editing. So when they take skeptical inquiry articles, they find any article in Wikipedia that they can shove it into as a reliable source to get their dogma out.
We have with us today Mr. Rob Heatherly, an American hero, a U.S. Marine vet. Rob Heatherly is known for his diverse career, starting with his honorable service as an infantry marine, a structural and design engineer, as well as working with electronics. His many interests include physics and in ancient history, which led him to explore UFO literature and non-human intelligences. His work is aimed at leading to a better understanding of UAPs and non-human intelligence. Mr. Heatherly has been involved in bringing to light evidence of a UFO cover-up. He claims that there is a well-organized secret cabal of debunker editors organized by a California-based 501c3 nonprofit group named as the Guerrilla Skeptics of Wikipedia, who are intentionally rewriting what you see about such topics as UFOs, the paranormal, personalities that are attempting to bring about disclosure, and other topics of the phenomena on Wikipedia. Mr. Heatherly is the co-host of the YouTube channel Military Witnesses to UAP. Check them out. And Mr. Heatherly has appeared on various platforms like The Good Trouble Show with Matt Ford, and radio shows such as Coast to Coast AM with George Nuri. We are extremely and incredibly excited and honored to have Mr. Heatherly with us today to discuss his research.
All right. So maybe you can see that how this Rob Heatherly person who spent 60 hours one week, he says, 60 hours, going over my past interviews and so on, and doing this deep research. Everything he's found out pretty much is wrong. He doesn't know anything about Wikipedia. And he's got personal issues, let's just say, and you have people like these are called experiencers. These are people who have experienced something in the UFO world. They they feel presence or been abducted or I don't know what. But they
Apparently only men get abducted.
this is entirely a man thing. So I'm sure that they're very upset that there is a woman who has so much power, right? That's why they were probably giving it off to Mick West for a while, because they didn't want to think that a woman would be in control of so much power. But so you can see how the ego is. This guy's a hero. He walks into a room, well, metaphorically, because they're all on Zoom, but he comes into a presence and people are like genuflecting at this guy who was a structural engineer in the military, and he's got, issues himself, and this is his ego thing. He's been on Coast to Coast, and twice they've been on Coast to Coast now. So I went onto this YouTube channel thinking I could just explain. And I went on and everything was nice and wonderful and fine for a few minutes, and then about 30 minutes in, they started attacking me with some really wild questions. You're like, what are you talking about? Who cares who Licky Louie is? He's just some guy. Anyway, so you guys, since you're all watching this right now, if you want to, I don't know if there's any money behind this or not, but he's offering for you guys, if you have insider information about my team or whatever, you can go in here and you can apply or whatever it is. Let him know, because he's wanting a whistleblower who's been on my team before to infiltrate or whatever. I've kind of locked it down. It's hard to get into the GSOW now if I don't know you, but this is a video. No, it's okay.
Very interesting.
It's one of those videos that starts playing without me actually hitting the button. So let me set this up. The person on the right is the left, your left. And that's Ross Coulthart. And this video is from May. And I just recorded it really quick, so this little black line up there is up there, just don't worry about it. So what you're seeing is this is a very popular, very famous in the UFO world, both of these men. And they do these videos, a lot of them on me. Nobody invites me on the shows, but they do a lot of these videos on me, talking about what they think they perceive is happening in GSOW. So I'm glad you're sitting down. Vicki, you might want to sit back down soon. Okay, get some water, because you're going to need it. So this is a couple minutes long that I'm going to show you this clip. And this is Ross Coulthart explaining what's going on. And I don't know how you guys are going to be in my presence after this, if you believe it. So, okay. That is just the coolest sound. I gotta use that for something.
I find that to be very interesting. And we do live in interesting times. I don't think we should go today without recording also the grave concern about the sanitizing of history. The fact that there have been obvious efforts by someone, as yet unidentified, to delete the Wikipedia entries of Christopher Mellon, the former the Undersecretary of Defense, and Harold Malmgren, who we spoke about earlier, and Pippa Malmgren. Somebody is trying to sanitize Wikipedia and remove references that might bolster public understanding of the UAP issue. And it's funny, some of the people online have been speculating that it might have been this self-promoting group known as the Guerrilla Skeptics. I'm not going to name them by name, because I think they get a kind of a prurient sexual delight out of being named and being associated with the Guerrilla Skeptics. I'm increasingly concerned that their denials are true, and that it's not the Guerrilla Skeptics who are responsible for these deletions, but in fact it's more likely people from the intelligence community. And I commend to people the great work that's being done by a friend of mine, Rob Heatherly, who's been researching the background of who it is that's doing these Wikipedia deletions. I do know there's an ongoing FBI investigation at the moment, and if there are people from the intelligence community that have been involved in sanitizing Wikipedia, it's two issues here. Firstly, there's a huge problem with digital history. the fact that it is so easy because of the ridiculous status system on Wikipedia to delete other people's entries for no good reason other than the fact that you just don't want those entries to be given priority. Wikipedia is supposedly a system that has editors that achieve status by the number of years that they've worked doing Wikipedia entries. But the problem with that is that it's corruptible, and it's quite clear from people I'm talking to that there are people in the intelligence community who have garnered seniority on Wikipedia and who are sanitizing Wikipedia entries and trying to stop the public from knowing about things that will probably be known about.
Okay, that's enough of him. So, I'm telling you, I am a celebrity here. Actually, I guess they can't make up their minds if I need to be hauled into Congress to be sworn under oath, to be stopped, and to find out who's Lucky Louie is. I mean, it's just some guy who's making random edits on all sorts of pseudos on his page. He's not even really writing anything. He's just like correcting misinformation or spelling errors or something. It's not like it's some huge user on Wikipedia, but they've got it in their brain that this guy is something, I don't know, he's the conspiracy because they don't know who he is, or I don't know. Sometimes they think that I am paid by the DOD, and sometimes they think that I need to be hauled in front of the DOD. They cannot make up their minds, but they're on, I mean, it's just, it's a constant battle. What I think, I've talked to a few people who have been on UFO Twitter for a long time, and it's a hashtag UFO Twitter, and that's how you can get all this, like you get into this little world of all the conspiracies that are going on. But some people I have been on there a lot longer than I have in paying attention to this topic. I've only been paying attention about 2 years when I started getting tagged after the Australian skeptic thing. So I've asked them, I've had some Zoom conversations with them. I said, come on, I need somebody just to explain to me what the heck's going on. And one man explained that, Susan, it's like if they have you as the victim. Okay, so if you've got a community that feels under attack, whatever community it is, then the more you feel like you're under attack, the more it rallies the troops around you, because we're special, and look at these people, these elites, these scientists and so on that are attacking us. And so we have the true knowledge. And this is true of all the pseudoscience world, right? You know, the flat earthers believe this, the astrologers believe this, the psychics believe this. And so now, the more they attack me, Susan Gerbic, the less they have to come up with actual facts about UFOs. It's all about the cover-up. I'm the one responsible. The reason why there's no disclosure, we don't know the facts about UFOs right now, is because of Susan Gerbic, right? Okay, so this is what they've come up with. And it feels silly to say it out loud. But they have this idea that that's what's going on. And you guys know me, I don't look like a supervillain, right? But they think of me as a supervillain. I am their newest supervillain. I'm one of the most hated people in the world of UFOs right now. Mick West, myself, and some guy named Lucky Louie, you know? Some poor editor who takes it on the chin. He just laughs and stuff. He's like, oh my gosh, you guys. So,
Do you talk to Lucky Louie?
well, he's one of the editors on Wikipedia. He's just somebody who's there. I've never had a conversation. I have no idea who he is. I don't even know what he looks like. What I visualize in my mind is not him, but I guess, I would assume. I think of him as a British man, but he is a British. He always writes in American English, but for some reason I'm picturing this guy, you know.
His user page says he's British.
Does it? Oh, I don't remember that. But he always writes in American English. So, I wrote an article about this. Oh, they put up so many memes of me. My gosh, and they're not even good memes. They're awful memes. So we had a little fun with it. So Adrienne Hill, my friend, she'd taken a picture of me somewhere, and I'm looking into a crystal ball. It was an award. It was given to me. It looks like a crystal ball. And so she took my picture like this, and then she added the flames and the white things so that it looked really spooky in the smoke. And so she was sharing that around. These people, they try to do memes, but they don't do it well, you know. So I wrote this article, Skeptical Inquirer, and it's called I Blame the Australian Skeptics, and it's about a year old. and it is up to date as to about a year old. It has a lot of these citations in it if you're curious, but it's been a fascinating journey to be the villain, the supervillain in this world, and I'm stopping all knowledge of this, I guess, I don't know. And I put in here the Skeptical Inquirer introductory offer. If you didn't take a picture of it earlier, you should probably take a picture of it now, so that you can get yourself a subscription for the first year for $19.95. But I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. This is the first time I've done this talk, and probably the last time, I don't know. But anyway, I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Just silly. Anybody have anything?
You're the good trouble.
I'm the good trouble, huh? Yes, Greg.
Mine's more of a comment. The thing I've never understood is that
There's no understanding this.
so many, like all the skeptic community and stuff, like so many people have like science backgrounds and stuff, but you know, there's a lot of people that are also into like sci-fi and fantasy and have been reading sci-fi and fantasy since we were teenagers and, you know, watching movies and stuff. And like, I feel like at least most, maybe everybody would be like, man, if aliens were visiting the Earth, how cool would that be? You know,
Yeah,
we
save us.
want to know too.
Yeah, well, we do. I think that I think most
like
of
we would be anti-disclosure at all.
yeah,
We
anybody
wanna
here
know.
would have a problem with having aliens on the. I mean, if we knew that, if there was evidence of that, wouldn't that be the coolest thing in the world? I mean, we would be. We might put our phones down for a few minutes. I don't know, but it would be really interesting. But they think they have to have somebody to blame for the reason why they haven't got the disclosure yet. So I guess I'm their latest victim. Yes, Karen?
The thing that really makes me want to just
Yeah.
grab them figuratively by the neck is anyone can learn how to edit Wikipedia. And they just keep pointing the finger at you, blaming you. It's right there. I've looked at it, not through GSOW, but just myself, going in how to edit Wikipedia, how to do this. And they don't want to learn how to do it. They don't want to follow the rules. They don't want to make their own properly cited entries. They simply want to make a demon out of you and keep pointing to you. So they're they're either idiots or disingenuous.
They could be both.
It doesn't have to
It-
happen.
it's possible to be
It
both.
doesn't have to happen.
Go ahead.
Or they're AIs that are famously bad at doing citations.
Well, so they say they do come in and attack Wikipedia every so often. I call it vandalism because they just come in and just vandalize. And the stories there's multiple stories, and I just won't go into it. But I have had some really good conversations with some people on Twitter. I have started just in the last few months banning people, blocking people on my Twitter feed, and things have gotten really nice. But I finally blocked Matt Ford because he was just. It was like his ratings would be down, and he'd post something about me, so his ratings would go back up, and people would be all over him. Not all people in the UFO community support him. A lot of people know that these people are bogus and that they're bad people. They call me everything. Some of the worst words you can think of are being said about me publicly on Twitter, and I just make a screenshot of them, block them, and then move on. But they put up memes. There's this meme, Greg, when we went to SciCon in 2023, they had tinfoil hats. They were making tinfoil hats, and Greg shows up, and he's kind of shy, doesn't know anybody. I said, here, you're in charge of the tinfoil hat making. So he was making hats for people, and they were coming up to our table, and they were taking the hats. And we were making selfies all over the place. So I have a selfie of me with a tinfoil hat on, and I put it up on Twitter, because I don't really care. I thought it was funny. And some of these Twitter people will go and they'll find that picture and they'll put it up as if it's embarrassing to me. And then I say, I'm the one who put that there. So what are you trying to embarrass me? I took that picture and put it on Twitter, and you're just reposting as if it's like some kind of gotcha. So they can't understand that I don't have a science background. I'm a retired photographer at JCPenney Portrait Studio, 34 years. And so they just don't like that. I'm just a regular person. It pisses them off. But I don't need to be a scientist to edit Wikipedia. I just need to know how to follow the rules, you know? So it's been fascinating. But if you guys want to join a secret cabal, you know, I'm training. Yes, Susan?
I worry about your personal safety, and I'm wondering, do you worry about your
thank you for worrying about my personal safety. Karen lives down the street from me. She's got my back. No, I have a bigger problem with raccoons these days. You would think.
The raccoons are a secret cabal.
Yes, they probably have little cameras on them and stuff like that. I don't have any feeling of personal safety. I mean, I don't really think of it that way. I think I'd probably go nuts if I thought that I was really worried about it, and I just choose not to, I guess. I mean, look, are they out there? Where are they? I mean, come get me, I'm right here, but
They're invisible.
they're invisible. I mean, there might be a point where someday I'm gonna have somebody protect me or something, I don't know, but at the moment, I don't feel any worry about it. I mean, there'd be really good media if somebody was to attack me. I would think the psychics would come for me before than that. Any other questions?
Oh, I had a question.
Yeah.
You said you're on Twitter, you decided to stay on
Yeah.
Twitter. Have you changed any minds?
Yes, actually, thank you for asking me that. So I do put out some videos every so often when someone makes these most egregious of the egregious statements about Wikipedia. What I do is I put out, somebody will say some statement, I'll say, that's a really good idea, let me explain that to you, but it's gonna take me a little bit to explain it to you. In fact, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna make a video, I'm gonna put screenshots, it's gonna probably be an hour long, will you watch it if I do it? And I've had some people say, yeah, I'll watch it. So what I do is I go over, I make a video showing screenshots, explaining what they're looking at, and then I go back and I tag the people. And I've had people who've made some bad comments on some of the videos about what they believe. And I went through and I tagged every single one of them. I went and I showed their comments on the video I made. I said, according to this person, they said this. And I went through and I tagged them. So I had some really good comments from people saying, I had no idea. Wow, I have learned so much about Wikipedia in that hour. I had no idea. I am really kind of embarrassed that I didn't double check that. So I've had some great conversations with people who are changing their minds, and several people have said, you're not as evil I thought you were going to be this evil person, and you're not. And gosh, you're kind of a normal person, and so it's been fascinating. So yeah, I have changed minds, and I've changed minds in the psychic world, all kinds of stuff. I think if we were just patient with people and we treat them as individuals and see them and try to find out why it is, where are they coming from? What is their motivation for this? But the UFO world is extremely hipped on anybody who's in the military or police. They have absolutely got the argument from authority down. And if you are military or you're police, anything like that, you are salute, thank you for your service, sir, and believe everything you say. And there's nothing anybody else could say. Somebody like me, a baby photographer at JCPenney's, with no science degree, there's no way that they could, and a woman, oh my God, a woman. But yeah.
Military and police, but not scientists.
No, not scientists, unless they're scientists that believe.
Military scientists.
Military scientists, though, I don't know.
Wouldn't the military be the ones hiding the evidence of the UAPs? Why are they so
Well,
protective of
that is true, but they go, you're confused. Okay, Morgan, so it's some, but it's not, they contradict themselves constantly, and there's just no, I don't know, and I kind of do troll them sometimes, and I come in and say, so are we having disclosure yet? Or I say, where are you guys at on that RICO case? Or they were trying to raise money for a court, get a lawyer against me, or one of the things they had recently was they were attacking me for, my lawyers on, and I just respond to them just like, as a joke most of the time, and they don't like that. They really don't. They don't like that I'm not intimidated, and they can call me these names and stuff, and I'm like, thank you so much for your comment. Oh, that's great. Oh, thanks. Thanks for the view. And that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Anyway, so that's kind of, you're all up to date. Follow me on social media for the next whatever it is, but it'll probably be the Flat Earthers next. I don't know. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
In the 60 hours of research, do they find the takedowns of the psychics?
No, they are starting to get into psychics because they believe that they use psychic powers to bring UFOs to Earth. So and some have supported Tyler Henry, one of the big psychics that is in the news, and I've done takedown videos of Tyler Henry so many times. And when I try to bring that up, let's debate psychics, they just get quiet on that. But I have done, one guy on my birthday this last year, he has a UFO channel and he's supposed to be neutral. He says, you should go do a video or something like that, an interview with one of us, and I'd be happy to do that. And I said, okay, I've got some time in about a half an hour. And he's like, what now? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I'm not gonna go to dinner for a few hours, so I got some time. So he interviewed me for 3 hours, and it was a really good discussion. And during the video, as I'm recording live, I said, I'll record with you only if there's no edits. You have to air everything. And while I was on video, my friend Peggy, who's in the Monterey County Skeptic, she delivered flowers for my birthday. They came to the door, and I'm talking to this guy, and I'm like, there's flower delivery at my door. So I went and I got it, and I bring it in and set it down. So he left it all in the video. I think it was really kind of clever. And people were saying, in the video comments, they're saying, she sent the flowers to herself. Like, you just cannot win this stuff. No point of logic works with these people. But sometimes they do. Sometimes they go, oh, she's a real person. Look, she got flowers for her birthday. How nice. Anyway, okay.